7 types of people. You should never help in old age. Save your sanity. As we grow older, we accumulate wisdom that can't be measured in years or experiences alone. It's a deep understanding that time, in its precious scarcity, teaches us to value not just the moments we have, but the people we choose to spend them with. There's a quiet strength that comes with aging, an ability to reflect, to savor, and to discern the things that matter most. But here's the thing that isn't often talked about. With this wisdom also comes the responsibility of choosing carefully who we invest our energy in. As you grow older, you realize that not everyone who asks for your help truly deserves it. And in many cases, the ones who need help the most are often the ones who will take and take without a second thought, without ever giving back. These people, whether they are family members, friends, or acquaintances, are like leeches, constantly draining you of your time, energy, and resources. And they do so without any intention of ever truly appreciating what you offer. But here's the catch. It isn't always easy to recognize these individuals until you've given more than you can afford. The elderly in particular can fall into this trap more than they realize. You've lived a lifetime of kindness, giving, and helping. You've built relationships, nurtured them, and offered a shoulder to lean on. You've shown compassion, and perhaps at times you've been taken advantage of without even realizing it. As you enter the later chapters of your life, it becomes essential to guard not only your health, but your emotional energy as well. This isn't about becoming cold or indifferent. It's about being wise. You don't have the luxury of time or the physical stamina to continue offering help to people who will only drag you down. The truth is, not everyone who asks for help actually needs it, and not everyone who seeks your attention has your best interests at heart. In the next few minutes, we're going to talk about 7 types of people who may not only waste your time, but could have a long-term negative impact on your well-being if you continue to offer them your support. Recognizing these types of individuals and learning how to set boundaries with them is one of the most important acts of self-care you can practice in your later years. Because while the world might expect you to give without hesitation, you are allowed to say no. You are allowed to protect your peace. And most importantly, you are allowed to invest in relationships that bring you joy, support, and fulfillment. Relationships that uplift you rather than drain you. So, let's explore these 7 types of people, and together we'll learn how to identify them, avoid the harm they can bring, and ensure that your later years are filled with the peace, respect, and dignity you deserve. Type 1, the selfish takers. You know these people. They are always around when they need something, but the moment the tables are turned, they vanish. They are the ones who will call you when they need help with a task, when they need a favor, when they need a listening ear. Yet, despite your kindness, when it's your turn to ask for help, they suddenly become too busy, or you get nothing but empty promises. Selfish takers don't just ask for help, they demand it without a second thought. They have a way of making you feel like it's your responsibility to fulfill their needs, whether or not you're able or willing to. They rarely offer anything in return, not because they don't want to, but because they simply don't see the need to. After all, you've always been there for them, haven't you? The problem with people like this is that they don't recognize the balance of give and take that is essential in any healthy relationship. They drain you without offering any form of reciprocity. Over time, this one-sided dynamic begins to take its toll. Your energy starts to deplete, your patience wears thin, and before you know it, you're giving more of yourself than you can afford to. The real danger of these selfish takers in your later years is that they exploit your willingness to help. You might have more time on your hands, yes, but that doesn't mean your time is infinite, or that every request should be met with a yes. Constantly giving to these people can cause emotional burnout, leaving you feeling unappreciated, resentful, and exhausted. The hard truth is that these selfish takers don't care about your well-being. They care about what you can do for them. If you don't set boundaries, they'll continue to take advantage of your kindness, and you'll find yourself in a cycle of unbalanced relationships. And in your later years, this is the last thing you need. Protecting your emotional energy becomes crucial. Learning when to say no is an essential skill for maintaining your peace of mind. It's important to recognize these people early on. They often don't change. They may apologize or show temporary remorse, but their behavior rarely shifts. It's up to you to put the brakes on the cycle. Don't be afraid to say no, to set firm boundaries, and to preserve your energy for those who truly appreciate and respect you. Type 2. The energy vampires. If you've ever been around someone who leaves you feeling emotionally drained, you know exactly what I mean when I say energy vampire. These individuals suck the life out of you, often without realizing the damage they do. They might not even be aware of their effect, but after spending any amount of time with them, you feel exhausted, as if all your vitality has been drained. Energy vampires are the ones who constantly complain, constantly talk about their problems, and never seem to take action to improve their situation. It's always something: a bad relationship, a job they hate, personal struggles, and they are never short of new drama. And while it's important to be there for people when they're going through difficult times, energy vampires make a habit of being stuck in their negativity, offering no room for growth or change. Spending time with these individuals, especially in old age, can be incredibly damaging to your mental and emotional health. The longer you allow their negativity to invade your space, the more it begins to wear on you. They constantly bring up their problems, seeking sympathy and validation. But no matter how much you try to help or listen, nothing ever changes. They remain in a perpetual cycle of complaining, and you are left feeling like you're doing nothing but feeding into their endless need for attention. The real danger of these energy vampires is that they rarely change. They might promise to turn things around, to work on themselves, but they rarely do. They may seek your advice or comfort, but they never take any meaningful steps to improve their own situation. It can feel as though you're pouring your energy into a bottomless pit, only to end up more exhausted than you were before. As you age, it's crucial to protect your mental and emotional well-being. And this often means stepping away from people who drain you. You don't have the luxury of endless emotional resources to share with those who don't value or respect them. You need to conserve your energy for the relationships that truly matter, the ones that lift you up, that help you grow, and that provide mutual support. Setting boundaries with energy vampires isn't always easy. They often don't understand the impact they have on you, and they might take offense when you withdraw or stop offering the endless support they've come to expect. But your well-being is your priority. Letting go of these draining relationships may be one of the healthiest things you can do for yourself in your later years. If someone consistently leaves you feeling empty or drained after spending time with them, it's time to reassess that relationship. You deserve to be surrounded by people who inspire you, who bring joy and positivity into your life, not those who rob you of your precious energy. Type 3. The manipulators. Some people have a way of twisting situations to get exactly what they want, and they do it so subtly that you don't even realize you've been played. These are the manipulators. the people who prey on your kindness, your guilt, or your sense of responsibility to get you to do things for them. They can come in many forms. A family member who constantly makes you feel obligated to help them. A so-called friend who always finds a way to guilt-trip you into saying yes. Or even an acquaintance who uses flattery and sweet words to take advantage of your generosity. Manipulators are skilled at making you feel like you owe them something, even when you don't. They might remind you of past favors they've done for you, even if they were insignificant. They might make you feel selfish for saying no, painting themselves as the victim in the situation. And the worst part? They rarely come to you with an outright demand. Instead, they weave a web of emotional pressure so that by the time you say yes, it feels like it was your choice all along. The danger of manipulators in old age is that they know you have a giving heart. They know you were raised to help others, to be there for your family and friends, to be generous with your time and resources. And they use that against you. You may find yourself constantly drained, financially or emotionally, without ever realizing how it happened. It starts small, a request here, a favor there. Then, before you know it, they've made you feel as if your sole purpose is to serve their needs. You may even start to believe that if you don't help them, you're a bad person. But let me tell you something. You are not responsible for fixing everyone's problems. It's time to recognize manipulators for what they are and take back control. Start paying attention to how you feel after interactions with these people. Do you feel uplifted and appreciated, or do you feel used and emotionally exhausted? When someone asks you for something, ask yourself, would they do the same for me? If the answer is no, it's time to set boundaries. Remember, saying no doesn't make you unkind. It makes you wise. You've spent your whole life giving to others. Now, it's time to protect yourself from those who only want to take. Type 4. The perpetual victims. Everyone faces hardships in life. We all have our struggles, our moments of pain and loss. But some people don't just go through hard times, they live in them. They adopt a victim mentality, believing that the world is against them, that nothing is ever their fault, and that they are powerless to change their situation. And these people will gladly let you carry the burden of their misery. The perpetual victim is someone who is always struggling, financially, emotionally, or otherwise, but never actually does anything to improve their situation. No matter how much advice or help you give, it's never enough. They always have a new problem, a new crisis, a new reason why they can't move forward. And of course, they expect you to step in and save the day. They might say things like, "You don't understand what I've been through. People always take advantage of me. I just have the worst luck. I can't do it on my own. I need your help." At first, you may feel sorry for them. You might even feel a strong urge to help, believing that if you just give them enough support, they'll finally turn things around. But that moment never comes. The more you help, the more they rely on you, and the less they do for themselves. It becomes a cycle, one that leaves you exhausted, and them exactly where they started. The problem with perpetual victims is that they don't actually want solutions. They want sympathy. They want someone to listen to their complaints, to validate their struggles, to step in and make things easier for them. But they don't want to take responsibility for their own lives. Helping these people can be especially dangerous in old age, because they can easily become dependent on you, whether financially, emotionally, or physically. If you let them, they will make you their personal support system, taking up your time, energy, and resources, while giving nothing in return. And the worst part? The moment you stop helping, they will make you out to be the villain. It's time to stop enabling them. If someone truly wants to improve their life, they will take action no matter how small. If they always have an excuse, always blame others, and always expect you to solve their problems, then you're not helping, you're enabling. The best way to deal with a perpetual victim is to step back, stop offering solutions, stop bailing them out. Let them take responsibility for their own life. And most importantly, protect your own well-being. You are not responsible for carrying the weight of someone else's choices. Type 5. The exploiters. Exploiters are perhaps one of the most dangerous types of people you can encounter in your later years. They are cunning, opportunistic, and have a unique ability to take advantage of your kindness for their own personal gain. Unlike selfish takers who only ask when they need something, exploiters go a step further. They deliberately manipulate situations to maximize the benefit they get from you, and they often do so with a smooth, convincing demeanor. These individuals don't just seek help, they seek an opportunity to use you. It could be for financial gain, resources, or even emotional validation. They make you feel like you are the one who has something they need, and they are experts at convincing you that if you don't help, you're not being a good person, friend, or family member. But unlike true friends or family who share mutual respect and care, exploiters have no intention of reciprocating. They take, and once they've gotten what they need, they're gone, leaving you to pick up the emotional or financial pieces. Exploiters often disguise themselves as needy people, using their vulnerability to manipulate your empathy. They might present themselves as helpless, deserving of your support, or simply in desperate need of a hand. However, when you give them what they want, they'll quickly move on to the next person, continuing their cycle of taking without any intention to ever offer anything in return. In old age, when your time and resources may be more limited, these people can have a particularly devastating impact. They know that you have lived a life of generosity, that you have a wealth of experiences, and that you might feel a sense of duty to help. And it's because of this that they feel entitled to take from you. Whether it's asking for money, using you as a source of free labor, or expecting you to cover their emotional needs, they know exactly how to exploit your sense of duty and kindness. The danger here is that exploiters will not only drain your resources, but also your self-esteem. By continually using you for their own purposes, they make you feel as though you exist solely to serve them, without ever offering anything meaningful in return. Over time, this dynamic can erode your sense of self-worth and leave you feeling empty, manipulated, and used. To deal with exploiters, you need to be aware of their tactics. Recognize when someone is taking advantage of your generosity and stand firm in saying no. Don't feel guilty for protecting yourself. This isn't about being selfish. It's about ensuring that your efforts are respected and that your energy is used for the relationships that truly matter. In your later years, the key to a fulfilling, peaceful life is not allowing people to use you for their own benefit. Set clear boundaries and learn to identify those who are looking to exploit your kindness rather than value it. Type 6. The entitled ones. Entitlement is a powerful thing. It's that unspoken expectation that you deserve something just because of who you are, who you know, or what you've done in the past. For the entitled ones, your help is not a gift, it's a right. These are the people who believe they are entitled to your time, your resources, your energy, and even your emotional support. regardless of how they treat you in return. You might encounter the entitled ones in various forms. It could be a family member who believes that, because they are related to you, they should always come first. It might be a friend who expects you to drop everything for them, without ever considering how busy or overwhelmed you might be. They believe that your role in their life is to serve their needs, and any refusal on your part is seen as a personal affront, an insult to their status or importance. The real issue with entitled people is that they don't respect the concept of boundaries. They think they can demand your time, money, or help just because they are in need or because they believe they deserve it. They won't take no for an answer, and when you do say no, they may resort to guilt-tripping, anger, or passive-aggressive behavior in an attempt to force you into giving in. For instance, they may use phrases like, "I've done so much for you. Don't you think it's your turn to help me? You've always helped me before. Why won't you now? I can't believe you'd say no to me after everything I've done for you." These tactics are designed to make you feel like you owe them something. But the truth is, you don't owe anyone your time or resources, no matter the history you share. Your help is a gift, not an obligation. Entitlement can be particularly harmful as you age, especially when you realize you've spent your whole life giving, loving, and supporting others. The entitled ones take advantage of your generosity, and because they never give back, they drain you emotionally and physically. Their expectations become burdens you're expected to carry indefinitely. The problem is that over time, this entitlement only grows. They feel like they have the right to ask for more, without considering the toll it's taking on you. As you grow older, it's essential to protect yourself from these entitled individuals. You don't have to give in to every demand they make, especially if they're not willing to reciprocate. Setting boundaries with entitled people is one of the most important steps in protecting your peace. It's okay to say no. It's okay to take care of yourself. You've earned that right. If someone expects you to sacrifice your well-being for their comfort or convenience, it's time to reassess that relationship. Your time, your energy, and your resources are valuable, and anyone who thinks they're entitled to them without showing respect or gratitude doesn't deserve your help. Recognize the entitled ones, set your boundaries, and stand firm. You deserve to be treated with respect, and your kindness should never be taken for granted. Type 7. The chronic complainers. Chronic complainers are the ones who can never seem to see the silver lining in any situation. They are always fixated on what's wrong in their lives, no matter how many times you offer solutions or try to cheer them up. Every conversation with them feels like a never-ending loop of grievances and complaints. They constantly focus on what they lack, what others are doing wrong, and why things are never going their way. It's as though they've made complaining their second language, and every time you interact with them, you're pulled into their vortex of negativity. At first, you might feel sympathy for them. After all, life isn't always easy, and everyone has their moments of hardship. But chronic complainers rarely seek real solutions or personal growth. They simply want to be heard, but only to vent. They don't want advice. They don't want help. They want to wallow in their misery and expect you to join them in the process. It's exhausting mentally and emotionally, and the longer you allow them to dominate your time with their negativity, the more you start to feel drained. These people often go through life believing that the world owes them something. They fixate on their problems, making them feel as though their suffering is the worst, and they constantly seek sympathy from others to validate their feelings. While it's normal to vent once in a while, chronic complainers do it endlessly, expecting others to join their pity party. And because of this, they never move forward, never take action to improve their lives, and never break free from the cycle of negativity. Their constant dissatisfaction can become contagious, leaving you feeling more pessimistic and emotionally depleted. As you get older, this becomes especially harmful. You've worked hard to cultivate a sense of inner peace and contentment, and you don't need someone constantly dragging you back into the depths of negativity. Chronic complainers tend to wear you down over time. Their inability to ever find anything positive in their lives can cloud your own perspective, leaving you feeling drained and stuck in a negative space. It's important to recognize the chronic complainers in your life. If they are unwilling to work on their own mindset or seek solutions to their problems, then it's time to stop offering your emotional energy. You are not their therapist, and you are certainly not their punching bag. It's okay to distance yourself from people who continuously drag you into their world of complaint without any intention of improving their situation. Set clear boundaries. Let them know that while you understand their struggles, you cannot engage in endless complaining. Redirect the conversation to something more uplifting, or if necessary, politely excuse yourself from the situation. This is not about being cold-hearted. This is about preserving your own peace and mental health. Chronic complainers will never change until they choose to take responsibility for their lives. Don't let them make you feel responsible for fixing their problems. Conclusion: protecting your peace and setting boundaries. As we age, the importance of preserving our mental, emotional, and physical well-being grows exponentially. Time becomes a precious commodity, and we can no longer afford to invest it in people who drain us, manipulate us, or exploit our kindness. Throughout life, you've likely given much of yourself to others, whether it's helping your children, supporting your friends, or being there for your family. You've been generous with your time, your resources, and your heart. But in your later years, you have earned the right to protect your energy and set boundaries with those who take without giving, those who exhaust you without offering anything in return. The 7 types of people we've discussed, the selfish takers, the energy vampires, the manipulators, the perpetual victims, the exploiters, the entitled ones, and the chronic complainers, are all individuals who can rob you of your peace and joy if you allow them to. These people often mask themselves as needing help, support, or companionship. But what they're really after is your energy, your time, and your resources. They drain you without any intention of reciprocating, and they leave you feeling empty, exhausted, and unappreciated. It's important to recognize these individuals and understand that it's okay to say no. You don't need to apologize for setting boundaries. You don't need to feel guilty for putting your own needs first. As you age, you have the right to choose who you spend your time with, and it should be those who respect, appreciate, and uplift you. Remember, self-care is not selfish. It's necessary, and you have the power to protect yourself from those who would exploit your kindness or drain your energy. Surround yourself with people who encourage your growth, who share positive energy, and who offer mutual respect and love. Let go of relationships that no longer serve your peace or happiness. Your time is too valuable, and you deserve to spend it in ways that bring you joy, fulfillment, and peace of mind. So as you navigate the later years of your life, make sure you're investing your energy in relationships that nourish you. The journey is far too short to be burdened by the weight of toxic individuals. You've earned your place of peace, and it's time to protect it fiercely. Say goodbye to the leeches and the energy-draining relationships, and say hello to the people who bring warmth, positivity, and love into your life. Your peace and happiness matter, and you have the power to curate the life you want to live.